Hey everybody, this is math for Tuesday, April 21st. We are on lesson 122. We are going to be learning how to find the least common multiples of two numbers. So we have learned how to find the greatest common factor, and that is when you factor out a number. Now we are finding least common multiples. And this is where you take a number and you write out its multiples and find which ones they have in common. So here we have 4 and 6. Let me show you how I found the multiples. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12, right? 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18, all the way up. So that is when you factor, you're factoring them out, saying what numbers equal that number. And when you're finding multiples, you're multiplying those numbers out. So between 4 and 6, I've written out factors up until 36, and I've circled ones that they have in common. So in order to find the least common multiple, which is abbreviated LCM, we see that the least common multiple of these two numbers is 12. So now they want us to find the least common multiple of 6 and 8. Let's do that together. We have 6, let's multiply that out. Okay, 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4, 24. 6 times 5, 30. See how high they want us to go on this. They want us to go for a while. But we're finding least common, so I'm just going to do a couple more. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 7, 42. Okay, now 8. 8 times 1 is 8. Times 2 is 16. Times 3 is 24. Times 4 is 32. Times 5 is 40. Okay, now if we're finding the least common multiple, we have 24. And that is all that we're doing today, is we're just simply finding the least common multiple. We'll be using that later in a lesson, but today they just want you to be able to identify the least common multiple. Let's try one. It says the denominators of 5, 8 and 3/10 are 8 and 10. What is the least common multiple of 8 and 10? So now we need to find the least common multiple. So I'm going to do one number at a time so we can stop when we get to the least common multiple. And we know it's going to end in 0, right? So 8 times 1, 8 times 2, times 3, times 4, times 5. Okay, and then this would be 10, 20, 30, 40. So the least common multiple of these two is 40. All right, I want you guys to do practice problems, just A, B, and C for today. And this is 122, so it is even or all. And let me see if there's any extra numbers that you will have. Nope, it is included. So you just have set 122, even or all. And once again, corrections need to be done before you start tonight's set so that I can correct them and then send them back because they need to be corrected to 100. All right, lesson 122 for math 76 is finding a whole when a fraction is known. Okay, listen to this problem, which is a fractional part problem. 2/5 of the students in the class are boys. If there are 10 boys in the class, how many students are in the class? So we're going to draw out a diagram because that helps us to figure this out. So 2/5, my denominator tells me how many I'm splitting my picture into. So I'm going to have 5. Okay, so I have 5 sections because it told me 2/5. Therefore, I know it's split in 2/5. All right, so let's read this again. 2/5 of the students in the class are boys. So 2 of these fifths are boys. Okay, so 2/5 boys, which means I have 3/5 that are girls. Okay, if there are 10 boys in the class, how many students are in the class? So we know, we are told there are 10 boys in the class, and our diagram 10 boys are in two different parts. So split up, we know that this is 5 each, which means all of these have 5. So if there are 10 boys, we see that there are 5, 10, 15 girls in the class. And we can also find how many students there are total. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 total students. Let's try another one. 3/8 of the people in Iowa voted. Okay, so we're gonna do that first, 3/8. So that tells me I'm going to be dividing my rectangle into 8s. Okay, 3/8 of the people in the town. What did I read? Iowa. In the town voted. 1, 2, 3. So 3/8 voted. Which means how many didn't vote? So if we have this separated in 8 and we have 3 taken care of, that means we have 5/8 that did not vote. Okay. If 120 of the people in town voted, how many people lived in town? So 120 people did vote. So we know the total of people who voted. We know it's split this way. So what we do here is we take my numerator and we divide it. 3 goes into 12, 4 times, so 40. So that means that each of these are split into 40. So you see how I got my information there? I took the 3, divided it into 120 people voted. Okay, how many people lived in the town total? So they're not asking how many people didn't vote. They want to know how many people lived in the town total. So if I have 40 and I have 8 sections, I just need to multiply it. So 8 times 0 is 0, 8 times 4 is 32. So there are 320 people in town. Okay, here's another way. 6 is 1/3 of what number? 6 is 1/3 of what number? So 1/3 tells me I will be dividing into thirds. And 6 is just one of these thirds. So if that equals 6, then they all equal 6. 6 is 1/3 of what number? So since it's 1/3, I can add these all together, 6, 6, 6. So 6 times 3 is 18. So 6 is 1/3 of 18. We know that 18 divided by 3 is 6. Okay, let's try one more and then you guys will have some practice problems. A larger number has been divided into 3 parts. And you do need to illustrate in your homework when they tell you to diagram. Okay. A larger number has been divided into 3 parts. 2 of the 3 parts total 6. So if these 2 parts together equal 6, then 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So we know that these are all 3. Okay, so 2/3 equals 6. Okay. Since each part equals 3, what is the total number? 3, 6, 9. The total number is 9. All right, so that is how we find this. 8 is 1/5 of what number? So you just take 8 is 1/5 of what number? Of what number? So if we had 8 sections, or we had 5 sections, with 8s in them, we know that we would multiply. 8 times 5 is 40. So unless it asks you to draw a diagram, you don't have to, but if it does ask you to, you do need to. So for practice problems B, C, D, and E, you do not need to draw a diagram, but for F you do. And so you guys have set 122 even, but you also need to do number 1. Number 1 is what we covered in this lesson. All right, guys, let me know if you have any questions on any of the concepts, not just what we've learned, but if there's anything you're struggling on, email me and let me know so that we can take care of problems before they become a really big issue. Awesome. Thanks, guys.